So today there are going to be a number of people talking to you about experiences in San Miguel. I'm just going to start off with some background on the town and its history. Okay. This is an evening shot of San Miguel. It's sort of why we decided to call this presentation The Magic of San Miguel, because it really is a magical place when you get views like this. Okay. So San Miguel has some flat spots, but it's got a lot of ups and downs. A lot of streets running up into the mountains. It's been a magnet for tourists in the United States for over 70 years.
I'm not sure they can hear you. Not, can you?
I'm good.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, I'll talk as I can. So it's a lovely place to visit, and we're going to talk some more about it. It was founded in 1542 by Juan de San Miguel in the name of Philip II of Spain, who at the time owned much of the Western world. He was King of Spain and Portugal, England, a number of other places. So this is his standard over here. You can see that he was a busy boy. San Miguel became a market center during the silver boom of its big neighbor Guanajuato in the 16th century. The town's name, Allende, comes from one of their local heroes from the Mexican War of Independence against Spain from 1810 to 1821. So this is what really drove San Miguel. Here you see the silver and gold belt, mostly silver mining. In 1548, about 6 years after San Miguel was founded, silver deposit was discovered just 6 miles out of town. It eventually came to be known as the La Valenciana mine. And that mine, over the centuries, like 2 or 3 centuries, produced more silver for the Spanish Empire than all of the rest of the Spanish Empire's silver mines in the New World. So it's a gigantic amount. There was a road from Mexico City that went up through San Miguel to Guanajuato, which was the center of the silver mining in the south. It went on further up to Zacatecas, which was also a silver mining center, and actually ended up all the way up in Santa Fe, New Mexico, or what is now New Mexico. But San Miguel, while they didn't have mines of their own, became a center for service industry, if you will, that's what we call it today. They had a lot of agriculture there, a lot of textiles, and they provided food and equipment and other services to the miners in Guanajuato. And this made them quite wealthy. I think San Francisco during the gold rush, they didn't have any gold themselves, but they had Levi's, and they got wealthy by supplying miners with all their needs. So that's what San Miguel did. By the middle of the 18th century, the city was really at its height. Then they had a number of very wealthy folks had established their mansions there. A church building boom had ensued. There were dozens and dozens of churches, probably even hundreds, built in the 17th and 18th century. By the middle of the 18th century, San Miguel was 30,000 people. That sounds sort of like a hotel or Georgetown or something like that today. But at the time, it was twice as big as Boston and 20% larger than New York City. So it was a bustling place and a very important place. Middle of 18th century also saw a couple of major architectural trends converge. The Baroque had come from the 16th century onwards, and it was converging with the neoclassical from the 18th century, 19th century. So you saw and still see today a lot of these both Baroque and neoclassical influences, not only in the mansions, but particularly in all of the churches around town. Okay. So San Miguel suffered a population depletion as a result of the Mexican War of Independence and later the Mexican Revolution, 1910 to 1917 or 18. So it was sort of down on its luck. In the 30s, they were visited by a Peruvian diplomat and artist named Felipe Cosio del Pomar. He was a man of many talents, great industry, great energy, lots of vision, and he thought that they needed a place for the arts in San Miguel. So he created what was called then Universitaria de Bellas Artes of San Miguel. And he hired an American expatriate named Sterling Dickinson. Dickinson had graduated from Princeton in 1937, was the scion of a very wealthy family in Chicago. And he was sort of footloose and fancy free, so he'd been traveling the world, been to Nepal half a dozen times, hiking in the Himalayas, been all over Brazil, and he wrote travel books. And he pitched up one morning in San Miguel, just as the sun was coming up and shining on the Parroquia Church, which you see here, iconic vision. And he was so taken by this that he said, "This is where I'm going to live." So he lived there for a year or two, and then, of course, World War II called him away, as did many others. He came back after the war and founded and was the director of the Instituto de Bellas Artes. During the war, the the Bellas Artes had been run down because its founder had to leave for the country, and he left it in charge of a local attorney who sort of ran it into the ground. So I think we missed a slide. No, okay. And Dickinson came back and he was made the director of the new institute called the Instituto Allende. After the war, Dickinson had just a natural flair as a marketer. He was a great recruiter. So he recruited all sorts of GIs who had money under the GI Bill and who loved the idea of coming to a place like San Miguel, where the living was cheap, climate was great, the locals were welcoming, and they had something to do with their money that they could get recompense for, because under the GI Bill, the Instituto Allende coursework was recognized. So this is a bunch of them who turned out in their uniforms for Mexican Independence Day parade on September 12th down there, September 16th, sorry, in San Miguel. This Instituto Allende then was started in 1950. Founders were the same guy, Felipe Cosio del Pomar, and the Guanajuato governor, ex-governor, and his wife, who was, they were a terrific, very dynamic team, and they put some money into this and got it going. And Dickinson was still around, so they named him as the first director for the Instituto, which later became part of the University of Guanajuato. And their courses were accredited in the United States as well. This is shows you why the GI sort of liked it down there. Cheap rent, cheap eats, cheap music. What's not to like? So the Instituto was now in its 73rd year. Actually, it's still going strong. It's got lots of art created there and lots of art on its walls. Okay. They offer a couple of degrees in the the arts. They have many traditional handicraft workshops which people can attend. And their immersion course in Spanish language draws people in from all over North America and Europe. So it's a very popular place. This is one of the painting studios at the Instituto. And this is a ceramic studio. The next one is, I think the last one I have, this shows some photographers working and textile work over here. So ladies, that's all I've got. And
Got one more.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is a mural wall made out of ceramic tiles. That's obviously made fairly recently. I did not Photoshop that.
And it's in English, not in Spanish.
There are lots of expatriates living down there. Okay, so this is what San Miguel looks like today. This is the iconic parochial church. And you can see the wonderful setting it's in. And I'm going to turn it over to Sue and Libby, and they're going to tell you about recent visits that they've had down there.
Well, the reason we all went there, a little advertisement here is, Libby and Carl and Rick and I and Mark, we were all lucky, most of us, lucky winners from the CCV raffle at last year's Keep Aging Weird Lunch, which is coming up November the 9th. And this lovely lady, Donna Bryant Gertz, owns a home in the historic Central Park of San Miguel. And she has donated for several years in a row 2 separate weeks. So you have 2 chances to win if you ended up in this raffle. And Donna and her husband lived there for years when he was still living, off and on. Donna is a very interesting person, and she has a home that you will see full of art objects. She was the founder of the Austin Montessori School. So she's a fascinating person to talk to. She lives there half the year and half the year here in Austin. Ready?
Well, that's the central part of San Miguel, and her house is right in the middle of the center. It's just a couple of blocks from the main square. So we walked everywhere. Except we took a taxi to the Fabrica museum, but otherwise we got on our steps every day.
On cobblestone,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
cobblestone
yeah.
streets. And it's about 2.5 blocks to the plaza, I think, something like that. And the restaurants all around there.
Yes, I mean, and okay, yeah, that's her front door, and that's, you can walk along this very narrow sidewalks, cobblestones, and this is what you'll see. But if you open the doors
True.
of these places, you might see a gorgeous patio, and or then it goes up to the roof, and it's just, you know, you have to look inside because you can't tell it from the street.
It's an 1.5 hour shuttle from the airport in Puerto, is that how you say it? Yeah.
Okay.
So we had this shuttle, and they pulled up right on the curb here, and there's this wall with these doors. We're thinking, what have we gotten into? What's behind those doors? Well, here's what's behind those doors. You can see the front door straight ahead. She has a few plants, a little bit of art. There's a staircase. It's a 3-story facility. She has three different
There's the front door
Yeah.
right there.
3 different levels, and the living is all on the first floor, and then we'll see the others.
As you see the pictures of the interior of the home and the patios, one of the things she's done, she has, I don't know, 50 pieces of art and maybe 50 big plants, and they're just arranged beautifully. You know, it's like they're in this wonderful live museum.
Her housekeeper is Magdalena, and Magdalena runs the place. Every time you ask, Donna for something, you say, ask Magdalena. She's a full-time housekeeper. She, fixed breakfast every morning. She watered the plants, made the beds. You know, we were basically told, don't make the beds, you're taking the job away from her. Which was
And both sons have gone to college, and Donna has assisted in their
In their education.
Both of Magdalena's sons. Right, yeah.
Both of Magdalena's sons, one's an engineer in Monterey, works for Carrier Air Conditioning. There's the living room, the main living room. You can see there's Carl, there's Doug Aycock in the chair. And is that Donna off on the left?
Yes, that's Donna to the left. She was there when we
Right.
went.
And that's Vicky Aycock.
And our son Brad's in the
Mhm.
chair in the back and Carl's standing there.
You can see the living room is good size, lots of chairs. There's a TV. She had, basically satellite TV. You know, we watched, Prime and HBO and all that kind of stuff.
We never had time to watch TV.
Didn't eat.
I didn't take a picture of it, but she was in the process up here, the ceiling, which has a lot of glass that shines in. She was hanging umbrellas up there,
Yeah.
and I didn't get a picture of it.
Here's the other living room just across the entry from the main living room. And we didn't use it very much, but nice room. Here's Magdalena's kitchen. We arrived and she had, fresh guacamole waiting for us, which was, all the fruits and vegetables were better than anything we get here. She was a great cook. You'll see some of her food in a minute. There's one picture of the dining room up on the staircase. Here's a better picture. Nice dining room, lots of storage cabinets. I was impressed.
Did anyone ever find out how old the home is when it was built?
I didn't.
Okay.
Here's just kind of a little sitting area next to the staircase.
Yeah.
There's a portion of it that is over 300 years. Oh, well,
I think.
it's down in the picture.
This was Donna's second floor bedroom and the site of my fantastic event. You may have heard. There's a ceiling fan in there, and at midnight one night, the ceiling fan fell on me. Now, luckily, it only hit the side of my foot, and other than scaring the heck out of me because it was dark in there and I thought I was being attacked. I screamed, but nobody seemed to hear me. And I'd just been texting with Donna, even though it was midnight. And I texted her and told her what happened, and she was appalled, as you can imagine. She had people out there the next day put in a 5-blade Hunter fan. She asked me if I was hurt, and I said, depends on what my attorney says. This is one of 2 terraces.
This was amazing. The temperature was cool. We could go out on the terraces in the morning and in the evenings. And Sue and I were the second shift, and Buck and Carol Cole went with us, and Sue's old neighbor, whose name I cannot call right now. Yeah,
Nobody knows.
he wants to be mysterious. Anyway, we chose our guest on looking at some of the pictures before we went, who would like to read a book and be quiet from time to time. So but we had a great time. We really had a fun time.
Me on that.
Oh, but that's, this is where Carl and I slept. That's on the second floor also. And you can see all the light coming through. That ceiling goes up to the 3rd floor, but then across from there is the patio. So, and then this is another little small bedroom on the 2nd floor. And you can see she has art everywhere.
There's art everywhere. Original.
That is the 3rd story terrace where Marta and I stayed in the bedroom, which will remain mysterious because apparently no one took a picture of it.
Well, you had to walk across this terrace to get to it, and the door, I had to turn sideways to go through the door.
I'm sorry.
I tell you, it wasn't a full-size door, it was a small door, it wasn't me. But the bathroom up there was really amazing. All sorts of time, we didn't know where to take a picture of it.
We had a small room, but we were proud of our bathroom.
So then we'll show you some from around town. You can see the cobblestone streets. They weren't too bad. I've seen worse ones in Europe, but the sidewalks were narrow.
Out on the side of the town where we were.
Right.
And there is the cathedral.
Paroquia de San Miguel Archangel.
This is
It's,
at night. This is the plaza that leads up to the cathedral.
The cathedral had music during the day. It was, you know, tape, I guess, or however they did it, but you would walk in and there was this beautiful, soft music and you just felt immediately comfortable.
Well, the bell tower had bells that made no sense. They rang all at different times, not on the hour. Different bells would ring. We never could figure it out. And I was glad we weren't staying in a hotel close to the bells.
Bienvenido a Mexico.
I don't know what it was, but they just rang randomly.
This is the patio.
This is taken from a rooftop restaurant.
Okay.
Right next to the cathedral.
Of which there are several.
Yes,
Mhm.
we ate in two of them. There's
This group, by the way, is what's called a tuna, T-U-N-A. They're common all over Spain and Portugal and Latin America, the Spanish America is.
that what now?
They were singing for their supper, literally. They were trying to make money to eat on.
they didn't have just the typical guitars. They had violins, they had drums, and some members would get out and dance with people in the audience up there on the plaza. It's very entertaining, and you know they did pass a hat, but very, very professional. I'm impressed with them. Maybe.
With that, it is just a courtyard. I think we went up to the rooftop. I think this might have been where we went and had dessert on the rooftop. The library has a restaurant in it.
Yeah, we didn't
also.
need it.
We had
Y'all did.
lunch there. It was delightful.
And the service in all the restaurants was just wonderful. It's a different attitude of service, is what I would say.
Well, and their presentation of their food is beautiful. I usually don't take pictures of my food, but the presentation was always beautiful.
Can you explain that?
Okay, this is now an art gallery, several art galleries and shops and whatever. Used to be a fabric factory and
All the equipment is still there, just sitting there, all
Yeah.
rusting out, but you can see all the looms and the various pieces of equipment, big pieces of equipment.
and it's a large facility with lots of different shops and restaurants too. We had lunch there. Well, we went around, had lunch, and then walked around some more. But there was some gorgeous art.
Well, coming up, you see these angel wings everywhere, because the cathedral is the archangel
Right.
cathedral. So you see art of all different kinds with those wings.
Yeah. With the icons and whatever. This is the painting that Rick left there.
They know about tourists and they were proud of their art. So I took a picture of it instead of buying it. It was also 3 feet by 6 feet and I didn't have a way to get it home and they wanted $700 to ship it. So it's still there.
More food.
My favorite part. Here's Breakfast by Magdalena. I don't like
Papaya.
papaya and what's the other one? Mango that we get here. Those were delicious. I've never had anything like those. And of course, fresh banana. And then she did migas that morning. And all fresh, she brought the eggs in every morning. I don't know where she bought them locally somewhere. Our trio, I think, was the best dinner we had, and that was on a rooftop through the courtyard, and then the rooftop overlooking the cathedral. And that's Donna at the bottom right. You can barely see. That's her two cousins that she was staying with. She, after staying with the Beck, she abandoned the place. Let us have her place, and she went and stayed with them. And so we had dinner with them one night. Amazing fish presentations. I mean, like Libby said.
That was fish, yeah.
That was a fish, yeah. This was right across from our casa. You can see the food there. It's wonderful. Quincy is now open in Austin. It is where Abel's on the Lake was, right next to Hula Hut. And they have redone it. I understand it had a soft opening a couple of weeks ago, and I want to go. Not bad. And we were sitting looking at the atrium. We were up at the bar level having dinner because we didn't have reservations. And this guy, there was a wire going across. He proceeds to get up on this wire and start tightrope walking. And he does have a cable holding him, but still, he was, you can see, walking and sitting and hanging upside down. I wonder if they did that here in Austin. It'd be cool over the lake. Wouldn't need the cable then. We'd need the safety cable. Yeah. Did y'all eat cha-cha-cha?
We did not.
The lady that gave us a tour of the murals, a 5-hour tour of the mural, over 500 murals. Some friends of hers are expatriates that live down there. And for 10 years or more, they had this restaurant. And a few years ago, they closed it. And I said, what's it been all that time? She said, it's been his man cave. So now they've resurrected it as a restaurant. And the food was amazing. Probably the best mole I've ever had. You can see the menu there. It was wonderful. They were very friendly. It was an excellent restaurant. That's where we had lunch that day in our 5-hour tour. Libby?
This is something that our son found, and it was just I guess 3 or 4 stories, because we kept going up and going up. And it was just toys made out of all different things. Now, the picture on the left was from a shop that but the picture on the right is of the toys. And it was stuff made from all types of material, wood, ceramic, straw, whatever, but beautiful and just fun. They had rooms and rooms and rooms, but it was interesting.
We got a Coke cans.
Yeah.
Is that what I called it a door decoration? Is that what it is?
I don't know. Looks like it has the zodiacs on there. But there was everything you could think of.
Okay, there's not much to say about these other than there's a lot of them. So we're just gonna kind of go through them.
An old-fashioned Jeep and bumped around the city to see these.
Yes.
Went in her Jeep.
Yeah, she
was-
gave us this, these were the colonials that she took us to and where these murals are. And Colleen started this.
It was graffiti 13 years ago, and it was against the law, and they were arresting all these young men, primarily men, that were doing graffiti. And she went to the council and said, you know, these guys have some talent. We need to let them do more than just graffiti, do actual murals. And so they changed the law to allow that. And now it's worldwide, known worldwide. Artists from all over the world come here to paint these murals. And they're all on the sides of private residences or buildings. So they have to get permission. And typically they tell them what they're going to paint and they have to agree to that before they do the painting.
Did you see it being painted?
Yes, we saw a couple. I didn't take a picture of it, but we did see a couple being painted. And most of them are done with spray paint. And I can't imagine how you can do this with spray paint. The detail that they've got in there.
Yeah,
And so Colleen is kind of the grandmother of all this. And so she gives this tour and we saw more murals than you'd ever want to see. Her car was not air conditioned and it was hot.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. That's done with spray paint. And it's every subject you can think of. And you may see some graffiti, like a name or something that's not the artist's name. And that's not meant to ruin the painting or the mural. It's meant as a compliment by that artist saying, I like what you did.
Oh,
You see, it just goes down the streets. We're in areas that tourists don't go to typically.
right.
Yeah, we didn't go do much downtown. It was all in these crazy areas. There you can see some other people put their initials or names on it.
and then as it went along, they got young girls and women involved.
Yep, and they're doing it a lot now too.
Yes.
That one's done in tile. They have a few that are done in mosaic tiles.
Yeah.
And that's the same guy you showed us the picture of.
Yeah,
Henry, isn't it?
that's the guy who founded the Institute of Allende.
Some of them are really beautiful.
Uh-huh. Colleen used to live here and this was up on her deck. That was the shot to get at it. We're doing them around the corners.
Stop for a minute, and they have an official color, which is kind of University of Texas burnt orange, which you see on the sides here, so they would get the permission, and so there's pretty uniform color in the area, and then you'll see these beautiful murals with the color as a background.
Yeah, your house has to be,
One of the colors.
it's dictated.
Yeah.
And that's a mosaic also.
The detail they're getting with that mosaic.
Mhm.
I think that's Frida there on the left.
Yeah, Frida Kahlo. It's one of my favorites. Look at all the detail they put into that. It's- An underpass. Oops. That's pretty wild.
That's fun.
So we're driving around and here's this fenced off area which has a water pump in it, but there's people living right behind there. So you can see their type of poverty that you see. Look at
And
that.
that's around the corner also.
That's a little used clothing shop right there.
Really,
Over there.
So you can show me your outfit. Stand up and see your dress. It's our souvenir.
Yeah, this is my souvenir. Yeah.
Like the fish.
And there's Frida. That obviously was during the pandemic.
Everybody likes Frida Kahlo. You know, she was married to Diego Rivera. Both of them were famous Mexican artists. There've been Frida Kahlo shows all over the US or all over the world probably. Goes right up the buildings. Again, they had permission to do this.
There was, I don't know if you had it in here or not, but there was one mural that was around a, carpenter shop, and it went with it. I mean, my picture wasn't very good because you could, but they were working inside, and it was,
Interesting placement of all the eyes.
some of them are whimsical like
Mhm.
that is kind of fun.
He's Louis Armstrong, probably a New Orleans artist. You can see, look, he went right around the light pole.
Uh-huh.
And I verified, just because some people won this last year doesn't mean they can't be in the raffle this year. We want money in the raffle budgets.
One other,
Good stuff to back the raffle budget.
one other thing about our trip is that they have a wonderful Uber system, and you can contact Uber, and there's a car there in a few minutes. And they're all standardized Uber callers, and they're very safe, very comfortable. Well, they're small cars, as comfortable as you can be, but they have efficient transportation.
Right, and one of the things Rick edited out for some reason was our trip to the botanical garden. The botanical garden you had to take a taxi or an Uber out there, but it was beautifully done with the native species of all kinds.
And while they've developed that, there's a small river that feeds the community, and the garden is like the Lady Bird Johnson Center, and its design is to help keep that river clean because it's a main vein to the city. It's very interesting.
So there's more to see that we did not see, but if anybody has any questions.
There were hot springs we were supposed to go out and see that had like different hot pools, different temperatures, and they gave massages. We didn't get out there.
You can stay longer.
Didn't get to the winery.
No.
Well, you want to say something?
Trying to figure out the camera.
I was worried about this shuttle, this hour-and-a-half shuttle going from the one town where we landed. It was nonstop from Dallas, but an hour-and-a-half shuttle. I'm thinking we're going through the Mexican desert. You know, are we liable to be held up or whatever? It's like driving from here to San Antonio. You never get out of one town into another. It's all built up.
So do you have to fly through Mexico City or?
No, nonstop, Dallas to Querétaro.
Querétaro.
Yeah, and 2.5 hours, easy flight. They don't have many. We arrived about 10:30 or 11 in the morning, which was had to leave Austin early. Coming back, they have a 6:30 a.m. and a 12:30 p.m. So we booked the 12:30, and American kept changing us back to the earlier one. And I said, I'm not going through the Mexican desert at 4 in the morning, you know. So we kept changing it back and went back on the later flight.
So where we walked and where we were in the central city was perfectly safe. I know we invited a couple of people my children that said, I'm not sure we want to go down there, but I will tell you, it's a good thing they chose not to, because it's not a great place for children. It really is an adult city. There wouldn't be a lot of activities.
There were around the plaza, you saw police with guns, machine guns or AK-47, whatever, walking around. I don't know if they had bullets or not, but made us feel safe. And like on the plaza, there were two different bank areas that had ATM machines. And Citibank had one, which where I got some cash out. There's one across the plaza, and it had guards on it. I noticed.
We're going to see that anywhere in Latin America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we felt perfectly safe,
Yeah.
But
didn't have
you
any
forgot
problems.
one of the really important things, that there were many vendors of very good ice cream. We had a lot of ice cream.
The afternoons were hot. We always had ice cream in the afternoon. They had like 30 or 40 flavors, all homemade, and they were really good.
Joanna would
I
like
just
to say
wanted to,
something.
over there.
Where you guys-
I just wanted to let everyone know that I brought these sheets, advertise the raffle. So please know that they're available online.
How much
You
the
can
raffle
purchase them
tickets?
online, $10 each or 3 for $25. You can order online. These are also the other items that you could, purchase a ticket to win. There are several destination, packages, that are new this year. So it's really exciting. There are 11 different things.
There's 2 wine baskets.
There are 2 wine baskets. There's a wellness package, some Kendra Scott jewelry, a beautiful Colorado oil painting from Randy Goss, our repeat painter or artist. And then Lake Travis retreat, an evening of wine and dinner for 8
At the Hoffman's house.
at the Hoffman's house.
It's really good wine. We're not buying the wine. It's donated by Gary Glass, who's a wine connoisseur.
So, these are at the back table if anybody wants to take it, or use the QR code, scan it, and you can purchase on your phone.
So you can already buy raffle tickets from our page, you can buy them today.
Yeah, they're gonna be on sale from today through November the 7th. We're closing the raffle tickets online sales on the 7th. And getting that all done on the 8th to then sell them at the event on the 9th.
Which is where?
At Norris Conference Center. Thank you for asking, at 11:30.
Tickets.
And for this trip, just truth in lending, Sue and Libby stuffed the tickets. Rick and I had nothing to do with it.
And honestly, I didn't win. I have a friend in Albuquerque and she bought tickets and I had to put my name on it since I was in attendance, but I put her initials at the bottom. So after they drew my name, I went up and said, I gotta see the ticket, and it had her initials on it. So she actually won, I didn't, so I'm still eligible.
San Miguel.
I worked with
Time ago.
You've been there?
I've been, and what impressed me the most was the doors and wonderful door knockers in the residential area, especially around the parochial parish church.
Henry volunteered to do the historical part. He said, when were you there, in 1950?
1950.
Oh,
Were you at the Institute?
Actually, the Institute formally started the next year. So we saw various artists and, I was like, what, 16. We drove down, from Austin. And back nowadays, it's a super highway. Back then, it was a 2-lane road with a big high crown in the middle. And, it was full of trucks going from Monterey south carrying cardboard stacked maybe 20 feet high. And they were so top heavy that they had to go right down the middle of the road. So you had to be fairly nimble driving down there.
Henry said, I was there in 1950. I'm sure it's changed a lot. I said, Henry, the cathedral was built in 1600, it's still the same.
right, and the Arts Institute is still there. It's been renovated. It has a lovely courtyard where we stopped and had some wonderful juice drinks that they make there.
There's what, 30,000 retirees, American and European retirees there. But they don't live in San Miguel. I mean, they live out, not walking distance. We went to pick some up when we had the shuttle going back. And it was a long way out and very steep. We had the shuttle we were in couldn't make the driveway. It was so steep. Had to back up basically, the driveway. So they don't live in San Miguel in terms of in the tourist area, in the main plaza area. But they have little conclaves of condos and apartments where they, all
I think
kinds
they
of
probably have a pretty significant economic effect.
Oh, yeah.
How recent is that airport in Toronto?
Fairly modern,
Fairly new?
fairly modern. I don't know about new, but yeah, you can do that.
Leather product.
Yeah, this place had two restaurants and it only had like 3 or 4 gates, but you know, it was a fine little, American flies in there, United, and then the Mexican Airlines all fly into there, so it, stays pretty busy.
A lot closer to San Miguel.
Yes, here than Leon, right. We went
Is
through.
Toronto the place where the Napoleon installed Emperor Maximilian
Maximilian?
and his wife
Don't know.
in prison? I think in the 1810s, I believe. Thrown against the wall.
Yeah, the history, I went to the History Museum. It is very complicated, complex history about who was in charge, you know, who conquered who, why they did it, and yeah. Was that what you missing? We didn't talk about that. No, we didn't talk about that because I didn't feel I could explain it, and it's not a great place to take pictures. It was kind of dark inside. But they were having a play, a historical play outdoors while I was there. So, you know, one of our people that went with us, Buck, is kind of a history buff. And so he spent a lot of time in there. Of course, I should have asked him to come today and talk about it.
Sally and Neil have an interest. They're going next month. Oh, you've been? I thought you were going out. Yeah, yeah.
Come down and stay with her, so we did that, but now we're going back to kind of school work the day after. So I was hoping to learn more about the restaurants.
Yeah, well,
Well, those two were the big
We
ones.
have-
that night. You need to get those.
Yeah, Donna took us to,
Donna knows.
Yeah, she took us to several. Yes, she was up here.
But the rooftop ones are fun because we happened to be there on a full moon night. And so we were up on the 3rd floor terrace, having our little appetizers or whatever, and the moon rose. But you know, you have to have a certain kind of camera to take a good moon picture. I tried. It did not look great.
Did y'all notice, 5 AM explosions?
What?
Loud booms. 5
Yeah.
a.m. in the morning.
Once or twice.
sometimes, yeah.
Once or twice. Yeah.
It's a cultural thing.
I recommend your.
That I thought was 5 AM.
Traffic going down that street is pretty loud.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a police car or an ambulance or whatever. And we had a heavy rainstorm one night and that street acts as a river.
Yes. Oh, yes, it does.
Didn't come up in the place, but it was flowing.
Well, I highly recommend that everybody like it.
Thank you, Sally. And thank you all for coming today. What's our next
Henry, I
event?
think, put all this together for us today, so back to the.
Joanna, what's the next CCB event?
That would be on Sunday, Dr. Barbara Bergen, part 2. We have flyers back here at Cherrytown United Methodist from 2 to 3:30, also available on Zoom.
It's very worthwhile to listen to her. Not only does she go through every ailment, every pain you can have, she has a little chart. She said, now this one, I've had 4 out of 5, so you really don't need to worry about it. You'll provide. You know, with you, she's quite a character.
She started it,
Go ahead.
she started with the neck and is working her way down by joint. And so, yeah, we're about at the hips. We're about
Yeah,
at
I
the
was
hips,
hoping she'll do hips.
Next is hips and knees and ankles will be next.
She's one of the founders of Texas Orthopedics.
When she graduated from medical school, nobody would hire her as a woman orthopedic surgeon. So she started Texas Orthopedics, which is now one of the largest ones in this part of the country.
Is part 1 available?
It's on our
It's on
website.
already.
Mhm. Yep.
It was really
Sure helpful for you to get the joints from the top down.
Yeah.
I've seen her before.
She's retired. She moved to Georgetown and she still raises horses, rides horses, writes music and plays guitar.
And it's in the Tarrytown United Methodist Church Administration Building, which is, there's the block where the church is, just south across the street is the ad building, parking underneath, and you can take the elevator up or you can go up the stairs.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that PPD has a YouTube channel, so you can also find our programs on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, you can, you can go back and watch Barbara's first.
It's on our website,
And our,
It's
and
easier
our
to navigate than find it on the website. Capital City Village.
I might too, Elizabeth, I'm not sure. I think I might. Okay. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Henry.